Hello again, everybody. It's Plexi Cosplay, and I'd like to show you my vinyl wing overlays. The frame tutorials and how I made the base wings are all found on my blog with pictures and a walkthrough on Cosplay Central. I'm putting the link in the descriptions. So start with that, and then we're going to add on to it with the black overlay that you see in my final wing photos. So to start, I used Inkscape to trace out from the original photos from the game all of the detailed pieces that I was going to need to cut out for the windows. Once I did that, sized it to my body, and that's how I made the basic frame to begin with anyway. So this was going to match on top of that frame that I've already made, and I cut out all of the window sections for the details. During the process, I always like to double check, triple check everything. So lay it over top of your base wings to make sure that it still lines up. It's gonna look cool. And just double check yourself before you keep cutting things out. Finally, I just use scissors to cut out the edging and pull out my vinyl. This is a vinyl with a sticky back, so you don't have to do heat transfer or anything like that. It's just like a sticker vinyl on a roll. Something you'd use on a Cricut, which I don't have, so we're doing this all by hand, but I'm sure you could do this on a Cricut as well. You're going to take that paper form that we've just cut out all those windows for, put it on the back side of your vinyl, and trace out all of the windows as well as the edging that you'll need to cut out by hand.
Samurai sword on my back.
So now it's time to start cutting. I use an X-Acto knife and literally just hand cut everything. Again, if you have a Cricut, I'm sure this is easier, but this is a very large piece as well. I'm not even sure you could do it in a Cricut unless you did it in smaller portions. So just make sure that you are cutting in nice, smooth, consistent cuts so that you're not causing jagged edges, because there's not really going to be time to fix that later. Cut out all of the windows as well as the outside edging. Take your time. This is kind of fun, busy work, but this is where the magic starts to happen.
Stop, stop, stop. Stop, 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 stop. Stop, 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 stop.
Ooh, that looks so nice. Make sure to flip it over and admire your beautiful hard work. You'll be able to see if you've messed up and pulled any of the vinyl with some jagged edges at this point. I like to, again, double check my work. Lay it over that original base piece and see, does it about fit right? And it's looking good so far. So feeling pretty proud about that. Next step is going to be the most difficult and time-consuming part, and that is peeling off the sticky back and slowly but surely attaching the adhesive vinyl to the base. There's no room for mess up on this. Once you attach that sticky part of the vinyl, it will pull if you attempt to remove it again and start stretching it. So you kind of have to get it right on the first try, which makes this a bit of a difficult part. Again, cut yourself some serious time here. And at different points, if you start peeling back and it's too wide or there's too much to kind of manage, you can cut parts of the vinyl and then restart the process again. You'll see this as I'm going through and getting to the larger parts of this wing. But start at one edge and make your way down. Make sure that you're keeping it flat and going in one, I would say like a wave down the wing versus trying to do little parts at a time. And then you'll be good to go.
Stop, 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 stop. Stop, 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 stop. Stop, 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 stop. Stop, 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 stop. Stop, 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 stop. Stop, 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 stop. Stop, 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 stop. Stop, 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 stop. Stop, stop, stop,
can see at this point where I realize that the backing is becoming more of a hassle than it is to keep it on. So make sure to cut your backing off as you're going down through. And again, once it gets a little bit too unwieldy, start cutting the vinyl and restarting the process again in smaller chunks. If you have, I don't know, fewer windows or less complicated vinyl structures, you might be able to do this in one go. But really, it became too much to try to hold all of the pieces up at once. So cutting it into smaller, more manageable sections did well for me, and it just takes a little extra tidying up at the end, really, where the connections are made to make it look nice and smooth. I'm also using a heat gun here. Use a heat gun relatively often, but not on a super high heat. What you're trying to do is smooth out the vinyl. It kind of restretches and reforms back to the shape that it was, and you can end up pulling it a little bit more as well. And I also used it to help get some of the air bubbles out from between the sticky vinyl and the vinyl base. So I use a heat gun throughout the process at different times just to kind of reestablish that initial shape and to clean things up a little bit as well. Once I moved on to the lower wings, these ones have just an extra cutout that does not have a window with the back showing through, but instead has a window going the entire way through the wing. So once I had both of my layers of vinyl, the base and the sticky vinyl, is whenever I decided I was going to do these cutouts. They solidly through from front to back. And that's just as easy as tracing the holes that you need and then cutting them out with the X-Acto knife. Time to move on to the back side because clearly this is quite ugly on the back end. I was hoping that because the black showed through on the back side that it wasn't going to be so bad, but it is. So what I ended up doing was taking a glossy black paint, and then you hand paint everything that's exposed. So that includes the edging as well as all of the back side of the sticky vinyl that you had just applied through the other side. Make sure it's a glossy black because then whenever it dries, it will have the same shine as the glossy vinyl on the front. This is also a really good way to kind of touch up if there are any snags or weird edges that you had from the cutouts on the other side. If you paint over and kind of smooth out where those edges are through the back side, it really looks, it makes it look nice. So this is a good way to fix any little mistakes you might have had. But make sure you really get the edges and seal up all the sections that are exposed or kind of ugly. But there you have it. That's the final product. I hope this was helpful for everybody. Enjoy, and definitely like and subscribe and tag me in any of your photos.
Stop, 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 stop.